Yo, what's up, y'all? What's going on? What's going on, YouTube world, TikTok world? This is your boy, Big Miz from the Zoo. And I'm about to get into a story, you know what I'm saying, that I actually put out when I first got onto these platforms. And I was on the YT app. And this situation, you know what I'm saying, kind of got me known within the YT platform. And people knew who I was because of this story that I'm about to tell right here, due to the fact I got banned off of that app for putting out too many vicious attacks that came from the chain gang where I was at in Georgia Department of Corrections. I felt that I had to bring the story back again. You know what I'm saying? And this story is Welcome to Valdosta State Prison. Level 5 camp. And this is basically what happens when you get to these level 5 camps in the Georgia Department of Corrections. I'm just going to let y'all know, as a disclaimer, I went trying to find a situation. I might input at the end what it looks like the end result of the individual who did what they did to me and his outcome at the very end of this. I'm going to have to go and look very deep for a situation that is exactly like that, so y'all can see what it looks like when the situation happens. But we got off the Bluebird, right? And now we're in Valdosta State Prison in Valdosta, Georgia. And we're going through the processing where we're bringing our luggage in or our property in to this area. And we're getting ready to go to our selected dorms that they're putting us in. And it's a room full of CERT team members, and I noticed that it was one Caucasian male looking directly at us. And we had short sleeves on where they can see our tattoos and stuff like that, and the officer was looking at me real heavy. You know what I'm saying? He was staring at me, trying to connect eyes with me. And then when I actually looked at him, he said, "You inmate, come here, inmate." He was like, "What's your name?" So I told him my government name or whatever, and he told me to step into this back room. And he said, "Who do you belong with?" I was like, "What you talking about?" He was like, "Who are you affiliated with, man? Are you mob?" And I was like, "Mob?" Now I'm trying to think what he's talking about. I heard of a mob. I did not know that he was trying to connect me with the GFs. You know what I'm saying? The Goodfellas. This is a faction of a gang that comes out of the city of Atlanta. And they're in the chain gang, in the Georgia Department of Corrections. And they're under mob. And I'm telling him, like, nah, I'm not no mob or whatever. And he was like, "Yes, you are." He was like, "You got it tatted right on you, man. Like, who are you playing with?" I was like, what are you talking about? Didn't know that on my arm, I had MOB on my arm. I hope y'all can see that. It says mob on my arm. And I forgot that I got this years ago. You know what I'm saying? As a kid, I got MOB on my arm for listening to too many Tupac lyrics saying money over. And I went by that kind of creed at one time, and I got it tatted on me. Forgot it was there, and I laughed. I was like, "Man, nah, I ain't with no gangs out here, nothing like that. I'm from Jersey, whatever." And he's still looking at me like why am I lying? He said he's going to put me on this type of registry where he can like keep a file of gang members, especially the GFs, the mob. And I was like, "Man, you wasting your time with me." I'm like, "Yo, I don't got nothing to do with none of that." And he was like, "All right, well, I'm still going to put your name down." And he tells me take off my shirt or whatever like that so he can take pictures of the rest of my tattoos. And he was looking at the crown on my back, asking me was I ever a Latin king and stuff like that. I said no. He like, "Why do you have so many crowns, 3-point crowns all over you?" And I told him it meant something different. And he lets me out of that room. We're getting our property, putting it in this buggy, and we're pushing it down the walk. The walk is where you're going around the big yard, but we're going to the right where we're going to all of the dorms. And I noticed that it's not regular COs or CO2s or even a sergeant walking us down to these dorms. It's actually the CERT team. So I'm wondering, like, yo, why is the CERT team walking us to these dorms? I'm like, yo, is it biting like that in these dorms or whatever? So we dropping people off at A and B, C and D yard, and then we get to E and F. Now we're all the way at the bottom, and as we're walking up, I can hear the dorm. People are mad loud in the dorm. They running up to the windows. They looking. They running up to the doors. They looking. And they opening up the sally port. We're getting our property out of the buggies. We coming into the dorm. And they told me to go to the left side. So I guess I was in like F2 or whatever. So I go in. And people are asking me as soon as I step in, like, who do I belong with, who am I with, am I GD, am I Crip, or am I Blood, you know what I'm saying, things of that nature. I'm telling them, nah. So I'm walking past them, and I don't see no Muslims in the dorm or whatever like that, and that's who I was dealing with at the time, like all Muslims. I don't see them, so I keep going past. They told me that my room was downstairs, all the way in the corner. So I'm going to that cell, and when I get there, the door is wide open, there's nobody in there. So I stop, I put my bag down, and I'm looking around to see if anybody will connect eyes with me. So I'm like, yo, what's up? Like, I'm your new cellie or whatever, to ask them about the dorm or whatever, and tell them who I am and see who I'm going to the cell with. It's kind of prevalent, and it's important to know who your cellie is. It's very, very important, especially in the Georgia Department of Corrections, to know who you're going to be doing time with, because this is a person that you probably be holding it down with, and you got to sleep around in the same cell locked in with this individual. So it just can't be anybody. You just can't go for anything, especially there. Now, nobody is looking my way, so I go into the cell. I throw my bag up on the top of the bunk. I don't make the bed or nothing. I just put the bag up there, and I get my cigarettes, pull some out. I roll me up a cigarette. At the time, we can smoke inside the prison. So I go to the Sally Port, well, to the officer's booth. I lift up the latch and I say, can I go and smoke real quick? Even though nobody's on small yard, I just got here. I just want to smoke real quick. We was on a long ride on that bus. They said, go ahead. They let me on the small yard to smoke. And while I'm out there, I'm looking around at how big this compound is. And I was like, damn, like I'm at my new spot or whatever like that. And somebody's coming down the walk, coming onto the small yard, and this dude is looking at me. And I was looking at him, and then he turned his head, and then he looked at me again, and he caught my eye. So I looked back over. He was like, yo, Miz? And I was like, I'm saying, where you know me from? And he was like, damn, Jersey, nigga, home, saying, what's up, what's going on, man? I was in school with you and everything. And he's trying to, like, spark my memory, and so I can remember where I knew him from. I still didn't kind of remember him, even though he was saying the right schools, and he was from North Jersey and things of that nature. I'm like, all right, no doubt, what's going on? Talk to him, you know what I'm saying? And he kept looking at my hand while I'm smoking. He was like, do you got another cigarette? I was like, damn. I was like, bro, this one right here is to the face. You gotta go into my cell and go grab my pack, and I'll give you something out of that. And he was like, yo, what room you in? So I told him exactly where to go, so he go ahead and fall off in the dorm. And he goes to my cell. I guess he comes back out in like 3 minutes. I was like, yo, bro, what cell you said you was in again? And I was like, yo, just go across the big floor, go down the steps, go to the left all the way to the end downstairs, you know what I'm saying? It's the last door. And he was like, yo, I went there. He was like, you don't got nothing in there, bro. I was like, nah, it ain't the bottom bunk, it's the top bunk. The whole bag right there. Everything is right there. He was like, yo, bro, you don't got nothing, bro. And I was standing there, hold up. Excuse me. I was standing there, and I was getting heated up, because the words that he said to me, yo, you don't got nothing. I'm like, yo, hold up. So I push past him. I fall off in the dorm. I'm going down the steps. I'm kind of like walking fast. I jog down the steps, get to the door, and I look. As soon as I look at the top bunk, I notice it's no bag. It's no bag. Somebody done wiped my nose for all my stuff, you know what I'm saying? And I just got here. So I'm kind of trying to think, like, what do I remember people saying to do, how to handle this or whatever. Like, and I remember OGs telling me certain things that you can do to get people's attention when you come into these dorms, say attention dorm, and then state your case or whatever and see what's going on. So, like, I'm walking back and forth, and I was like, man, boom. So I go out on the big floor, and there's people in front of the TV. They looking at the TV, laughing and stuff like that, pointing at the TV or whatever. And I was like, yo, attention dorm. I was like, yo, I just got here. Somebody went into my cell and stole all my stuff, man. And I noticed that nobody was even paying attention to me. You know what I'm saying? They looked at me when I said attention dorm, but they kept looking at the TV, and they locked back into that. So I also remembered that the dude that I was speaking to in the county jail, he said that if people are not paying attention to you while you're trying to say something, he said that he grabbed the cord out of the wall one day from the TV, yanked it out, and stated his case about a situation. He was like, that's the way to get them to pay attention to you. They're going to be upset about it, but go ahead and do it. So I went towards the wall, and I put my hand on the cord, and I'm looking at everybody. They kind of stared at me, but they looking back at the TV. I pulled the cord out, and then I'd say, yo, attention dorm. I just got here, and somebody went and stole all my property out of my cell, man. You know what I'm saying? Now people are looking at me, they're like, man, I'm saying, like, it's another way to go handle that or whatever like that. Like, who do you deal with or whatever? And then some people just looked at me, turned their head, and some people walked off. Some people saying, put the cord back in the wall or whatever. And I said, you know what? I called out, Assalamu alaikum, and I said it loud, Assalamu alaikum. And I noticed it was like 7 or 8 doors at the top, 7 doors at the bottom started opening. All in unison, opening. And they said, walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah, what's going on? I was like, yo, I just got here and somebody sold all my property. And when I said that, the brothers went back in their cells. Some of them just started walking out, you know what I'm saying, and tying their sneakers. People are lacing up. Other brothers is going back in their cell to go get their bangers. They getting their cell together, then they come out and they all come on the bed floor and they walking up to me. They asked me what my attribute was and they said, what's going on? And I told them, I just got here. Somebody stole all my stuff, man. My Kofi, my prayer rug, my CO20s, which is my headphones, all my food, you know what I'm saying, my books, everything that I had. And they was like, yo, we gonna have to go door to door. And one brother that came, he must have been the mayor of the dorm. He's looking way, way madder than I even am. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to keep my composure. He was not. And he was like, what? He was like, yo, ain't nobody taking nothing from the Muslim here. He was like, it's a zero tolerance for stealing in this prison, period. Especially in this dorm in the bottom where we were. So he said we was going door to door, and when we find who did it, he getting pulled out and he getting put on the door. So I was like, all right, you know what I'm saying? That sounds like the thing that we had to do. So we started going from the door right next to mine. We were going door to door. We told the dorm that we was going to do that process or whatever. And that's a real tight situation because a lot of other people was not involved in that. They had nothing to do with it, and they didn't want people just going into their cell, into their area, looking around. Some people got like contraband, and they just don't want people in their personal space or whatever. But I'm going in and out of their cells. I'm saying it respectfully. I got to go in there and check, bro. You know what I'm saying? My stuff just got taken. I'm walking in. I'm looking. I'm coming out. But I noticed that people are ganging up in front of certain doors, and I noticed that it was either the Selenyos, you know what I'm saying, the MS-13s and the Nietas. I'm walking to them, and they're standing there looking at me, and I tell them I'm going into their cell, and they're looking mad. They was not happy about the situation. You know what I'm saying? And I noticed that one of them said, I hope he finds something. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going in there. I'm looking. There's nothing there. I come out, and I look at him. And he was like, all right, Drew, you good, Holmes? You good? I was like, yeah, I'm good. So I'm going from door to door, but I noticing I'm not finding nothing. And it's bothering me because I'm like, yo, I just got here, and it feel like I'm starting trouble. Like, I got something going on. I ain't been here 10, 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And it's already an uproar, and we're going in people's cells. So now we done cleared the bottom. We going up to the top. We go through all these cells. We done went in some Crips, some Bloods, Rums, GDs, some Ghost Faces, and all that. Like, we're going in all their cells or whatever. And once we get towards the last cell, it's a guy standing at his door. With his door open, he's standing there, arms locked, looking mad as I don't know what. Face look like it's shaking and everything. And I'm coming out of the cell next to the last, and I'm coming to him, and I say, yo, bro, this is the last cell, bro. I just got to look in here. Somebody stole my stuff, man. This and the third. He says nothing to me. I go in. When I go in, I see my stuff. I see my stuff under his bed. My stuff is here. You know what I'm saying? And when I go to turn around, this dude is trying to slide into the room and green light the door. Because he knew he was like double my size, you know what I'm saying? He was like 6'3", like 225 pounds. I was only 5'9", maybe 140, 45 pounds at the time. And he was trying to lock in and do what he had to do with me and probably try to keep me in the cell and keep them brothers off of him. But when he tried to green light the door, one of my brothers put his foot in the door, caught it, and they fell off in there. And when I turned around and started swinging on dude, and he's swinging back, the brothers came in from the back with all tools, bone crushers, short tools, long ones, all sharp. You know what I'm saying? They came, they pouring him out, but they're swinging kind of wild. So they told me, they're like, yo, move out the way, move out the way. So I'm like this, I'm trying to slide up out of the cell, and they pouring him out. And there was probably like 4 or 5 brothers in there on him. Once they got tired, they're calling other brothers to come in that were way bigger than the first group that came in. And when they come in, they doing the same thing, doing him filthy inside of that cell. And then they pull him out of the cell, got him by his arms, his legs, and stuff like that, brought him to the end of the tier where the ledge is at, and they threw that boy over the ledge. And I'm standing there. I'm still right there at the door by the ledge. I see him go over, and it's a metal octagon table, still octagon table. that does not move. You know what I'm saying? And he goes, boom, he hits it, he lays out, and I see him doing his little shake or whatever like that, and I'm looking, and I was like, man, I just got more time. I know that I'm about to do a lot more time for this. And the mayor can see it in my face, you know what I'm saying? The worry inside of my face, and he was like, yo, bro, how much time you got? And I said, a 10 to 3 or whatever. And he was like, man, you sure? What you doing down here with us, man? He was like, look, we all got life. These brothers down here in the Umar, we all got life, bro. We got this when they come down, because they about to come down here now. We're going to tell them that we did the situation. Go ahead and go to your cell, you know what I'm saying? Go fall back or whatever. So I'm looking at him, and I was like, yo, that was real commendable. I appreciate that. I shook his hand, and I started going towards my cell. And once I get close to there, I hear it's ruckus going on in my cell. Somebody's getting this beat out of them, stomped, slapped, everything. And I go in, and it's my cellie. And it's more Muslims down there beating him. You know what I'm saying? But they grabbing his luggage or whatever too, his bedding, all his property, because they about to put him on the door. And they told him up out of there. They grabbed him, told him out of there, put him on the door, put his luggage through, his food, everything. You know what I'm saying? Some brothers took some stuff and all that. And now I'm in the cell, and I'm thinking like, man, nah, this ain't right. Hold up. So I go out there, go across the big floor. Everybody is looking at me at this time, and I go to the door, and I ask him. I said, yo, I saw you. You know what I'm saying? On the big floor, sitting down, and you didn't even look in my direction when I came to the cell. Why didn't you tell me you was my cellmate, man? And you saw what happened? I was like, yo, I was like, how long you been here, man? He was like, look, I've been here for like 7 years in the same cell. And I got through these 7 years, and I'm doing life, and I got through minding my business and not saying anything about anything, act like I don't see stuff when I see stuff, and that's just how I got through. And I was like, 7 years, huh? I was like, yo, come on, man. So I went and I took this man off of the door and brought him back to the cell, helped him with his stuff, and brought him back into the cell. And I said, you're going to be my cellie, bro. And I was like, but if you ever see somebody come in from this day forth and do anything violating you or me, you gotta let me know, or I'm gonna pour you out myself. You know what I'm saying? This can't happen again. And he was like, all right. And this dude became my cellie. But we're looking out when the people ran in, the SERT team, the captain and everything, and they got the nurses there messing with dude, trying to get him onto this gurney, to get him onto the wagon, to send him down to medical, get him up out of there quick. And the captain is asking what happened. All the Muslims came and mounted up around him and told him that the dude was stealing from someone that just got here. And the captain said to the dorm, he was yelling to the dorm, and he put everybody like in front of their cells, and he said, this is what happens if you steal inside of my prison. Like, this is the chain gang, and the zero tolerance for stealing. There's no thieves in my chain gang. And I never heard or saw this individual ever again. I can't tell you how he made it out of that situation, what happened to him. Nobody never spoke about him again. But all the different gangs did come to my cell, whether it was Bloods, Crips, GDs, the Nietas, the Ghostface gangsters and all that, and asked me, did I need anything, and that they don't do no stealing in this dorm. The dude was off the count because he was a GD. You know what I'm saying? He was a gangster disciple, and he was off the count, and they wanted him out the dorm anyway. So that's how he left the dorm. And from that point, I invested myself so deep into the Muslims that poured into me once I first came, and I poured into them. I became the Amir of that dorm. I taught these brothers and taught these brothers. Then I became the Amir over Talim. And I did a lot. You know what I'm saying? I gave coupons in that prison and everything. You know what I'm saying? But the reason why I tell this story is for y'all to beware of the dangers inside of these prisons, because anything can happen at any given time, y'all. Any given time. And it's getting worse and worse and worse inside of the chain gang, the Georgia Department of Corrections. So I'm asking y'all to be safe. Take heed to these stories that I bring to y'all, man. And I got y'all every trip, but pay attention, because it's a lesson in every story. Believe me when I tell y'all. So look, right now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave a link right here. I'm going to leave a link for y'all to just help out with the channel. You know what I'm saying? Donate to the channel, help out with the channel. The link is right there for y'all. And this your boy Big Miz from the Zoo. I'm just asking y'all to be safe. Please be safe. and find something safe to do. Don't go outside in these streets and do something stupid and find yourself in somebody's county jail, prison, or chain gang, y'all. Peace.